This week's marketing motivation is going to be a little different, but I hope you'll stay with me. When I was a little girl, I was lucky to be surrounded by many supportive family members, friends, teachers, and mentors that told me I could be anything I wanted to be. But I didn't believe them because that same little girl was watching when strong women were being mistreated. That little girl heard the names that successful women were being called behind their backs and to their face. That little girl noticed when powerful people didn't allow the women in the room to have an equal voice. Now, that little girl may have had the passion, knowledge, and skills to be great, but she lacked the confidence to stand up and fight or ignore those who belittled others. Last week, we watched as Kamala Harris shattered the glass ceiling for women and minorities. And you don't have to agree with her politics and ideals to recognize that we witnessed a fantastic event that will help change the future for the better. I can only imagine the strength, confidence, knowledge, and skills that she's needed to get to this point. But I'm sure she didn't do it alone, because successful people rely on the support of others around them, and great leaders pull up others instead of pushing them down. So the women and men before her that have fought the good fight and lifted her are to be celebrated too. I'm excited for the future of all the little girls and boys that can now believe more is possible for themselves because they see someone that looks more like them in more prominent positions. As an adult, I've worked really hard to squish the voices in my head that say that I can't do something, and I'm learning not to give any weight to those who spew negativity. I think it's one of the reasons that I start teaching each of my marketing programs by covering the topic of mindset. And it's why I've started to freely share my mindset journey with other small business owners. I know that we all spend a lot of time in our heads, and sometimes we fear the ridicule that might come at us if we become stronger allies for those who are still fighting to be heard and treated equally. And we might also fear the naysayers that could appear as we become stronger leaders within our communities and businesses. But I promise when you start working on your mindset, quieting the negative thoughts, and stop listening to the doubters in your circle, you can significantly impact the results you have when it comes to marketing your business, starting a new project, or even beginning your day. Now, if I could go back in time and say anything to the little girl that I once was, I'd say listen and believe those who are offering you supportive advice. And when someone offers to lift you, take their hand. And ignore those that are calling names, mistreating and belittling others at the table, because they are the ones that are insecure, afraid, and weak. And one great thing about being human is that who you were yesterday doesn't have to define your future and who you can become tomorrow. It all starts with the first step towards believing in yourself. So what would you say to the little girl or boy that you once were? I'll be back next week with more marketing ideas and tips, but this week I'd love it if you could share what you would say to your younger self.